Hi, I'm Terry from Bed and Biscuits Boarding and Training Facility. This is June. She's done really good. She's got lots of energy, and we're just trying to divert that energy to good behavior instead of bad. She's never been very bad. She just takes advantage. You give her an inch, she takes a mile as far as the pulling and getting too excited to where she doesn't even think. But she's doing better and better with that. And healing, she's capable of healing really good. Get her in a new environment where she's inquisitive, looking everywhere else, or new people, or other distractions, and sometimes she's really not good at all. But that's just going to come a time after you get around more and more distractions. So what I've got, I think I got a 5-foot leash here, 4 or 5 foot. You can have a 6-foot leash, that's fine. I've got a prong collar that I use only for the training. I don't put that collar on her at all when I'm not training. Do not leave it on the dog because she can get it hung on a doorknob or a gate latch or anything like tree limb, anything like that type of choker, so if she gets a snag, she can hang herself. So do not leave that collar on her except for when you're training. I train usually, try to get twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. If the weather doesn't allow, sometimes I try to do it inside. Make it as short and sweet as you can. I'm out here for like 10 minutes each session. Kind of like a real young child. Their attention span isn't very long, so if you run into the ground 30 minutes later into your training, you'll start to realize that if you do that a couple times, she doesn't want to train. She sees the collar and leash coming and she'll go the other way, you know, kind of cower down like she doesn't want to do it. So you don't want to get it to that point. So just make it short and sweet, end it on a good thing. The last thing you do, end it on a good note. Praise her. I haven't used any treats to praise her. I just positive reinforcement. She loves. I tell her good girl when she's being a good girl. She loves to hear that. That's about as good as a treat to her. So and just praise her and pet her and love on her when she's being good. We're going to basically do about 4 or 5 exercises: the heel and leash, the sit stay, the down stay, and the recall. I'm going to use hand signals and verbal commands through all these. Sit. That's the hand signal to sit. It's just bring your hand up like this. You came to visit a few times. We went over this a little bit, but this video so you can watch. And if you forget one of the hand signals or whatever, you can watch. You can always call me as well. But sometimes I can remember it a little bit better if I see it rather than hear it. So when we return, we'll start out with a heel and leash. Okay, through all these exercises, the dog will be at your left side. So all of you, your family, everybody's got to be on the same page. Always put the dog at your left side when you've got her on a leash and you're walking, heeling her. If one person does it on the left, the other person does it on the right, she's constantly trying to crisscross in front of you or behind you to get to the other side. And it's because she's a little confused or thinks she can go on both sides, which will eliminate that going back and forth if you always have her on the one side, which is at the left side. When we're healing her, I think I told you when you're here before, just look in the direction. I pick something like the fence or a tree or whatever, and something in your house. You just look far away, look at where you want to go, and just keep walking. If this leash gets tight, give her a little bit of looseness where it hooks to the collar. So you're walking along, it doesn't matter where she's going, but if she's going anywhere other than right beside you, this leash gets tight, it's a pull and release. Or real quick, you can do it. Don't be afraid, she's tough. You can do, pretty good little pull and release, but it's very important to release. Her reward is to walk with the leash loose. When you have to correct her, it's just a pull and release. Do not keep it tight. She'll learn that if you're going to pull that way, she's constantly going to pull the opposite way, and it'll be tug of war while you're walking her. 2 years down the road, you'll still be doing the same thing. So when I start out healing her, we're going to do right turn, left turn, about turn. When I stop walking, she should automatically sit. If she doesn't, just ask her to sit, do the hand signal, and she should do very well. Let's see how she does. You ready, June? Okay, good girl. June, heel. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, nice and loose. When you stop, you should automatically sit. Good girl. Good heel. Exercise finished. Praise your dog. Good girl, baby. Okay, this is gonna be June's sit stay. Gonna put her on your left side again. Hand signal to sit. Next hand signal you need to know is to stay. And I think when you were practicing, when you came to visit, maybe you could only get this far away. To start out with, that, see, yeah, she'll want to come to you sometimes. If you don't really enforce with a nice stern voice to stay, she's going to try to follow you. So if she's doing that, I would only take 1 or 2 steps. Stay, 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 and then return. I'm going to try to get out to the end of my leash. I have been able to normally, and just show you that she is capable of it. I'm not going to leave her there for more than 3 or 4 seconds. You can work up longer lengths of time as time goes on, but you want to be able to walk out the end of the leash with her staying, stay there for just a few seconds, then come back. Every time you come all the way back here where you started out, then you release her. Don't release her before you get back. Get all the way back here, leave her there for another second or 2, then you can tell her okay, or good girl, whatever, and reach down and pet her. But you release her. That way, later on down the road, you'll get big rewards from that. Just they'll learn to anticipate the release on everything. Sit, stay, 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 stay. Good girl, stay, stay. Exercise finished. Praise your dog. Okay, this is gonna be June's down, stay. I always start out with her in a sit. Okay, turn and face her like this. After she's sitting, make sure she's sitting. Reach down, put your finger right to the ground when you tell her to down. If she doesn't down, only tell her twice, just in case maybe she didn't hear you or whatever the first time. Tell her only twice, just like a small child. You tell them 3, 4, 5, 6 times. If she's not doing it, every time she doesn't do it, she's breaking that command. Because believe me, she knows what you're saying, so she's breaking the command. So I'd only tell her twice, once if she'll do it. But if she doesn't, only tell her twice, then make her do it. And I'll show you how to do it because she may not go down for me. I just pull like 1 foot out real slow. Oh, look at that. 1 foot out at a time, real slow, and she'll just go down. And then tell her good girl. And you have to really reinforce the word stay or she's going to pop up while you walk away. Come on, that's it. Sit. Good girl. Down. June, down. Yep. So, what I do, which is good girl, down. Sometimes you gotta take both of them. Stay. 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 Really reinforce the word stay. 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 Exercise finish. Good girl. Good. Okay. This is going to be her recall. You're going to sit her at your left side. Stay. Reinforcing the word stay as you walk slowly out to the end of your leash. And stay. You can only get this far. Stay. And then call her. That's good to start out with. Don't try to go too far. If she continues to try to follow you out, don't keep doing it. Only do like 1 step away. You'll be able to get all the way to the end of your leash in no time at all. But if you reinforce the word stay with a good firm voice, with your hand motion at the same time, the hand signal, she'll probably stay there for you. And then when you get to the end of your leash, you're going to be facing her and you're going to tell her to come and pull your hand to your chest. Sometimes I take a step back as I do it. You'll see me do it. And it'll make her want to come a little bit more. Say a nice high-pitched voice. When she comes, she usually sticks her head right between my knees. Sometimes not. And I want her to sit in front of me. But as long as the end result, what you want later on down the road, is to call her when she's off leash and her come to you. So that's what we're trying to get at this early stage. Sit, stay, stay, stay. June, come. Oh, she went around the backside and stuck her head in. Good girl, praise you. Okay, for conclusion, she's done really, really well. Her biggest thing that I can see, off leash, she's still not. She's one of those dogs on leash. She's learning and she's doing really well. She knows when she's off leash. She knows you can't really correct her when she's off leash. she runs around hard to catch, stuff like that. That's going to be an issue until later on down the road. The better and better you get her on a leash, the better she'll start to get off leash as well. So keep that in the back of your mind. And then later on down the road, if you want to do an off leash class like this, but everything done off leash, she's definitely capable of it, but she's got some growing up to do first. Let me see. She's done really good with all this, but like I was saying, if you get her in a different environment, like at home, like she does here, she's probably going to eventually do very good for you at home. Once you get doing this repetitious over and over at home, she'll do good for you eventually. But then once you take her out, say you take her to Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that, or a park, she's going to be at her worst behavior, but expect that. Take a lot of patience with you. Take this collar for sure, strong collar and a leash, and don't put her into any more big distractions than you have to, and then just be prepared to correct them as she tries to do the wrong thing, and then praise her like crazy when she does listen to you. You do that over and over and take her places, she'll get better and better. She's definitely smart. She's really capable of doing all this. The jumping, I think we went over this several times. When she goes to jump, if you can just kind of like hold her down, I just hold on the back of the shoulders when she's really wanting to jump. Take the leash like this and just hold down, and then just pet her like this so she can't jump up. Give her all the praise down here. The more you pet her when all 4 feet are on the ground, she's going to learn. That's when she's going to get the attention. When she jumps up on you, that's when, if she's got a leash, it's pull and release. You tell her no, off, and she'll learn how to do it. And if you're introducing her to somebody else, if you can have this collar on when you introduce, the minute she goes to jump up, just like when you guys come to visit her, just give a pull, quick and release, pull and release, and tell her no. Then to tell her off when she goes to jump. She's learning. She's doing a whole lot better than she did. But if you don't stay onto it, she'll get back to where she was. Going in and out of doorways, I put her in a sit, tell her to stay. I open up the door. If she does pop up, I put her right back down, tell her to stay. Open up the door. I take a step through the door first, and do a recall, tell her to come in and out of both doors from my kennel. I would recommend, you don't have to, but you can do that at home. That way when you open up the front door, she doesn't think she's the first one that gets to bolt out, which most of them try to do, most dogs. Get her in the habit of waiting for you to tell her. It's a real good habit to get into. And she's done really, really good. I think she's definitely capable of doing the off leash. It's just going to be a matter of time for her growing up. Thank you very much. Good girl.